Hello there, and thank you for taking the time to visit our YouTube channel. There is no denying that today's generation has moved steps ahead of millennials. With it, they are probably missing out on some captivating things cherished by the previous generation. Let us jump straight onto the top 20 unrecognizable stuff. Number 20. Rolodexes. The circular shape of personal organizers hasn't changed. While college diaries are popular among students, most adults have their chosen portable gadgets on hand. Rolodexes, on the other hand, are becoming more obsolete. It evolved into a swirl card organizer that held company trade cards or other tactile information that you could quickly access to get the touch you were looking for. Number 19. Netflix mail order. These days, Netflix can be found almost anywhere, and it is one of the world's most prominent streaming services. However, many children today are unaware that Netflix began as a DVD delivery service, and Netflix sends DVDs to your house in these purple envelopes for a monthly charge. Number 18. Test pattern. While the channel was live, test styles were aired on television, but no photographs were broadcasted. TVs are less likely to require troubleshooting, and airtime is more likely to be packed throughout the day. While today's children may see a practice performance that indicates something is awry, they will never repeat the pain caused by that ostensibly endless radio sound. Number 17. Pagers, also known as beepers. Moving on, there were several different pagers on the market until the early 1990s. As soon as affordable and dependable mobile phones were available, these wireless telecommunications equipment were returned to dinosaur design. Alphanumeric pagers, like dual QWERTY pagers for sending and receiving early forms of text messages, included a specific type of smartphone. On the other hand, pagers are a joke because this is something that a cell phone can accomplish. Number 16. Phone book. Consider how many different phones your pals have. Did you realize it was all right? Probably not, because names and numbers are now on our touch lists, and a phone number is only a button press away. Instead of Googling the call and seeing the diversity of phones, they have to appear in groups. Well, phone books are being used more than anything else these days as material for exposing your monstrous energy. Number 15. Television programs. The TV Guide. The TV Guide. Yes, even watching television used to be more of a pain since you had to check in every day to see the game, which station was on, and adjust your schedule appropriately. Before the internet, streamed material could not provide you with instant access to specific advertisements and movies. Not to add that cable containers now come with an on-screen manual. Too bad, but we rather see what this week's Quilts superstar has become. Number 14. Palm Pilot's PDA. Personal Digital Assistants, or PDAs, were the major cell phones, and they had been in the late 1990s for sure. On the other hand, PDAs went out of favor with the introduction of smartphones, and even their attempts at phone and smartphone versions couldn't compete with iPhones and Androids. We doubt today's kids have heard of them unless their parents are techies. Number 13. The church isn't that the key of a church. You might not be aware that an older bottle opener style is known as a church key in the United States. The start of the bottle shape on a stop is usually formed by a large loop, similar to the large loops on old style buttons. And now and then, on the other end of this bottle opener, there is a perforator, which is a nice addition for novices. Number 12. Wired video game controller. Even if one wire sticks out, we're certain that the majority of youngsters can figure out what an internet gaming controller is, but they won't know how inconvenient it is to have tangled connections. Instead of immediately connecting to the sports console, modern online gaming controllers are increasingly directed toward WLAN, preferring battery power at infrared or Bluetooth. Number 11. Cassette tapes. Cassettes were the predominant format for gaming audio before the advent of CDs. They disguised themselves as VHS cassettes, which most children can identify. At least, that's what we got from the rest of the list. Cassettes use a cassette player to play songs and other recordings, then physically rewound and played back. A classic mixtape retains its uniqueness, even though it has been substantially transformed by the modern phone. Number 10. Catalogs of library cards. One cannot ignore that popular library. Libraries are regrettably seeing a decline in patronage, but one aspect of their functioning is rapidly becoming obsolete: card catalogs. Data about the library's contents were stored in enormous drawers full of playing cards before PC databases. They indexed all of the volumes in the library and where they might be found. Getting aid from the librarian to locate a certain ebook was nearly always necessary. Number 9. Storage folders for CDs and DVDs. While CDs and DVDs are becoming less popular, one of the children's storage techniques is even less well-known folders, which are no longer their kind. So the CDs are placed into sleeves that look like photo albums in these folders. They may also be closed on the edges to keep CDs and DVDs from falling out. It was a more compact manner of storing your movies than many people's covers. Number 8. Paper cards. Yes, youngsters are likely to understand what a card is. However, be aware that the widespread availability of applications such as Apple Maps, Google Maps, and MapQuest has rendered paper maps virtually useless. While most children nowadays are aware of what they are, they may find it difficult to study one honestly. Online maps can't be adjusted to erase internal and external facts as effectively as possible. Still, they can have unique recommendations and routes shown immediately on the screen, all thanks to the Charming and Kind Woman series. Number 7. Internet through DialUp. Isn't it amazing that you can view this video in HD without having to wait for it to buffer or interleave? Yes, in the 1990s, that was just not possible. God forbid your mother wanted the phone because it would turn into television for you on your lower back if she did. The top 3% of internet users will continue to utilize dial-up beginning in 2013. We apologize for any inconvenience this has caused you. Number 6. Fax machines. If you ask a 1990 kid if they've ever owned or even used a fax machine, the answer will certainly be no. Faxes, also known as facsimile or fax, are images sent over a phone line and subsequently uploaded. They were undoubtedly the fastest means to get material published over large distances before email became widespread. Despite the utility of fax machines in the economic sector, they are likely to appear as basic printers with strange smartphones to many children. Number 5. Walkman and Discman portable audio players. Walking along the street with such jerks made me feel cold now and again. Take a look at the lower back. Hindsight is always 20/20. A Walkman or Discman is a small audio player that can hold cassettes or CDs. If we're talking about Walkman, we should stop flipping the cassettes after the top of one facet has been reached. When it comes to Discmans, it appears that they continue to skip the maximum number of occurrences that do not match. Number 4. Photographic film in development. Many individuals still like capturing images on film nowadays. There's no denying that virtual cameras have a strong hold on the market. Thus, it may seem weird to a couple of youngsters who are used to exhibiting, capturing, and sharing their photos immediately. At that time, you'd have no idea how your images were created until you found them in your lower back. Only then would you learn that lightning or other factors had damaged half of your works of art. Number 3. Telephones. For this one, we'll have to travel way back. Even before touch-sensitive telephones, there were rotary telephones. They had a finger wheel with slots for personal numbers on it. Place your finger to the proper notch and turn the dial to select a variety. You can then return to where you started. Remember to repeat this process for each digit on someone's various phones. However, they went out of popularity in the 1970s when touch-tone phones took their place. While changing this watch face is tactile and enjoyable, it is equally time-consuming and inconvenient. Number 2. Encyclopedias. Children today may be astounded by what the full-size Britannica series of books does on their grandparents' shelf. We know it quite well for people who have not developed with the web. Books were the greatest and most effective, standardized type of info humanity had before the internet. While many of us now use Wikipedia, it is a descendant of encyclopedias. Number 1. Floppy disks. The disk is still alive today because you click on the icon to save a file. However, only a few youngsters are truly familiar with the material. A popular tweet even questioned why the store's logo is a drink dispenser. It's incredible to imagine that today's USB flash drives can store gigabytes of data. Who knows, maybe in a few years, we'll be laughing our little terabyte flash drives. The evolution is indeed surprising to see. What are your thoughts on this technological advancement? Please let us know your opinions in the comments section below. Click the subscribe button to keep up to date. Bye guys.